Well, this was a really disappointing second half for us. First half of the game kind of went like we had hoped. We'd keep it close and play tough and see what would happen. Had a chance to be up, you know, save the penalty that happened to us right at the end of the half. A really nice 2-minute drive would have capped it off well. Unfortunately, we didn't get that done. And then the second half, we just didn't. We had one monster play that happened in the game, and we were in command of the 3rd and 10, and we were on top of it and all that. And they make a I don't know what kind of play that was. It was a very fortunate play, but it changed the field position and gave them a chance, and then they went ahead and scored and took advantage of that. That was a huge play in the game, I thought, and unfortunate. The It was an unusual game in that we defensively played really well on third down. That was one of their two conversions in the game, and usually that gives you a really good chance to play well like we did in the first half. But there was just too many big plays. Stafford hitting both Robert and Cooper over the middle. Those plays were just field-changing plays, and they got in behind us in our zones, and we didn't have the pressure to keep the ball to get it dumped down. So it's football stuff, and the things that we have to fix, we have to clean up, we got to get better at, and we got to make sure that we don't allow that to happen again, because the second half was a big explosion for them offensively, and we really were in way better control of that, and really disappointed that we let that happen. I thought this is a significant night because Russell wasn't able to finish the second half. He's got a badly sprained finger that we need to figure out. There's work to be done in assessing all of that. Russell's one of the great healers of all time, and he'll do whatever he can to get back as soon as absolutely possible. On the other side of that, Geno did a really, really good job, very much in command. We were able to do all kinds of things with him out there. He handled all of the communications beautifully and played really well. We had a chance to win a football game with all of that. We had a chance to win a football game with the ball in our hands and a couple minutes to go. And unfortunately, we threw an interception when Tyler slips and gets tripped. I don't know what happened on the play. I couldn't tell. But I do know that they made the big play that changed it. Give them credit. They bounced back from a loss last week, and they did a nice job hanging in this game and took advantage of the opportunities when they came. They're a good club, and we know them and know that. So there's stuff for us to fix. There's stuff for me to fix. There's areas that are just jumped out. That when they're able to throw the ball over the middle like that, they're getting too much time, and we have to do a better job with our backers, and we have to get to the quarterback so he has to dump the football off, and that did not happen in the second half. And this has been a very good pass protection team. They've only had 3 sacks all season, and the quarterback doesn't get hit, and they were able to do that in the second half, and that gave them the shot to get back in it, and they did it. So more power to them.
Is there any early indication on how long Russell might be out?
No, I wouldn't put any timeline on it right now.
You mentioned that I might have misheard you. I thought you said more work for Russell Wilson. Does that mean additional imaging?
Well, we just got here, to the time to assess. So I don't have anything for you at all. Whatever, yeah, they'll do everything that needs to be done, X-rays and all that kind of stuff.
What was the determining factor that pulled him?
He wasn't able to hold on to the football the way he needed to throw it, because we were going to throw the ball and we had to throw it all over the place, and we didn't know what he would be able to do. We was just unsure, and I trust him that if he could have, he would have.
Did he dislocate the finger at all? Is it out of place or bone?
I don't know that. I'm not going to tell you. I don't know anything, Greg. I really don't know enough about it. I know that it was pretty darn sore.
Once they were really having a lot of success carving you guys up with those crossing routes and your linebackers having trouble, why not play Ryan Neal more and have more dime?
This has nothing to do with it. Sorry, it has nothing to do with it. It was on first and second downs, and he plays in dime, in third down situations. It's just maybe we'll resort to that. That was not in the game plan to be done this time, so that wouldn't have made a difference, I don't think.
Pete, you mentioned the one monster.
But because you brought it up, I'm gonna check it out.
Pete, you mentioned the one monster play on offense. Is there a frustration 5 games in about not? Because you want a balanced offense, you want a rhythm on offense. Are you getting that this year, or is it more boom or bust?
We've been pretty big play oriented, which is what we always want to be. We always want to be like, they always want to be explosive and all that. It felt like we had, we didn't feel like we weren't able to protect them, and it felt like we ran the ball some, and it felt like the game was there for us, and until kind of suddenly it wasn't, and then Russ goes out and the things changed, and we needed to complement better with our play on defense at that time, and we weren't able to do that.
You mentioned Geno a little bit earlier, but obviously it didn't end the way he wanted. But for him to get a shot, he is the backup. He doesn't usually get to play. And to play
Yeah,
well.
I went right to Geno afterwards and just said, you've been waiting a long time for your opportunity, and the faith that you've shown in our program and in us to stay with us and all that. And I was so proud that when he got in there, he did great. He really looked good, and he's been working for that. He's a talented football player. He knows our system. He knows that if Geno's going to play for us some, as Russ comes back, he showed that we're in good hands, and I was just proud for him, and the fact that he hung with us all this time and believed in being part of this program. And then when he got his chance, he did well. That was pretty good.
What was Wilson's demeanor like on the sideline when he came out of that game?
Very matter of fact, very calm about it. He was clear that this was not going to be the night to come back in there, and he tried and would have if he could have, and but already projecting forward. I'll be back. I'm going to get this done. We'll get this figured out and all that, and see what whatever, and just exactly like he does. He knows that's where he goes. He's not going to sit in the moment and dwell on it at all, and he didn't.
It seemed like you guys did a pretty good job protecting both quarterbacks tonight. That Russell's 2 sacks seemed to be on him late in the plays, and the way Geno had time late in the game as well. Does that seem like against that front that it held up the way?
It's one of the best outings we've had. Yeah, and I think that's part of the system and the way we did it. We had some different thoughts this time around, and I thought it worked out really well. The guys did very well up front.
Did Carroll ever in play? Did he test negative today?
What I'll tell you about it, I mean, I was in it all the way until 1 o'clock today. He tested negative. Again, his test will be, the test for today will come back tomorrow because it had to go to Burbank to get assessed. But that, he really kind of got caught in a technicality that because he had been positive, he needed 2 negative tests back to back. But because he had proven positive, the first negative test wasn't decisive enough. It wasn't a powerful enough statement about the level that he was at for the docs to okay it. So he was negative. He was negative, and then he was negative the next day too. So we had 2 days in a row, but the first day they didn't count it, and so the next day was today, and I think some stuff will happen here with the league. We realized that we were in a difficult situation, because we couldn't get today's test to the place in time, because there's no way. And so I think they're going to look at that because, it's a difficult deal. I really was pulling for him. I just wanted that to happen, because he had, I think, 5 straight negative MESA tests, 5 days. And so, but that wasn't enough.
When you told us yesterday that he tested negative, that was a test he had taken on Tuesday.
The day before that showed up yesterday, yeah. As well as the MESA. He tested negative for 5 days. And this is the reason we're talking about it, because everybody's should understand COVID and how it works, even whether it's football or whether it's in real life and all of that. There's these tests tell us a lot of stuff, but some tests are considered more accurate than others. And and the way that the tests are evaluated or more clearly assess the level of the load of the virus, and in that it wasn't quite enough. It was negative, but it wasn't quite enough, and so I hope they'll learn and figure it out as we all go. All this stuff is brand new, and we could be griping about it and all that. I'm not. I know exactly what happened, and I competed with them all the way to have a chance, for Gerald to play against these guys, and they just couldn't get there.
And he was still asymptomatic today.
Yeah.
What'd you get out of Alex Collins? What did you see in terms of?
I think Alex continues to show good stuff. Everything he does, he shows quickness and playmaking ability. Very good in the open field. The screen was a beautiful run. You know, Alex is really doing his job. You know, something we should mention, you didn't ask about this. I don't know this for sure, but that might have been one of the great plays I've ever seen a punter make. I mean, it's one of the great kicking plays in the history of the league. I've never seen anything. I mean, and I've been around a lot longer than you guys, and I've seen a lot of football. I've never seen that happen before. And what a remarkable play it was. And then not just to kick it again, but to kick it where we kicked it and to get so much out of it. I haven't seen the film or anything. I don't know anything how close it was to being across the line of scrimmage, but it was just a remarkable moment. And you know, Mikey's a pretty darn good football player, man.
One-hand scoop.
Yeah, the scoop was ridiculous. It reminds me of one that Marshawn had made years ago. We plucked it, but that was a marvelous play we witnessed.
You decided to punt earlier in their territory, and then the next drive you go for it. What went into those?
Different. It was different. The situation.
What was the
Well, you know, if you're listening to the numbers and all, and when 4th and 2, I can't tell you too much. I'm not tell you too much about it. I can't tell you. Sorry, but they were different situations.
Jamal Adams' game. What do you think of Adams, the way he played tonight, Jamal?
Well, unfortunately, on the big play, you know, he didn't find his way to the ball. You know, they were very fortunate that happened. We were over the top and had the guy doubled and then all that kind of stuff, and they wound up. I don't even know why I threw it, but the fact that they did and they made a play, you know, give them credit. It's a great play by their quarterback and by Deshaun. You know, I'm not going after any one guy on anything about anything right now. So that's not the time to go after me first. Yes.
Darrell Taylor had his 4th sack in this one. What have you made to the start to his season so far?
He's really doing well. He's gonna. I mean, this is the guy that he's going to have multiple sacks in games. You know, he's just a factor, and so we just got to keep placing him and getting him in there, and it's obvious. I mean, after this break, we'll reassess a little bit of the first 5 games, have a chance here, and maybe we got to spot him even more than he's already getting, you know, and more in passing down stuff because he's been one of our most effective guys. There's no surprise to us. He's looked, you know, like a beautiful football player coming up. He's just raw and young and getting it figured out. He's going to be really tough to deal with as we go down the schedule.
The sequence at the end of the first half where you get the long completion to DJ Dallas, and then it looked like it took a while for that next play to get on.
Yeah, really, we were hoping to play fast right there. We just got a little sticky in the call, and we didn't want to give stop the clock there and give them a break. We wanted to put the pressure on them, which is we love to do that, and it just wasn't. The clock was burning right there. It just took us a while to get set up, but you know, it was 8 or 10, 12 seconds maybe more than we should have, and I was counting on it being faster, but it just didn't quite work out. That was a really, you know, a beautiful drive, except that, you know, they got us on the hold. You know, we couldn't ask for more, but just the clock just drained there when we expected to wind, you know, get up and down faster than that.
Do you know enough about Russell's injury to rule out surgery?
No, I don't know that. I don't have any idea about that right now.
Pete,
Sorry.
You called Russ one of the great healers of all time. Has his durability and ability to bounce back over the years been one of his kind of hidden traits?
He's been just remarkably durable, but what's the marvelous part about it is his attitude about how he approaches it. I mean, he is going to heal him. He's going to heal himself, and you know, he is the epitome of what the mentality, taking control of how your body functions, man. He makes stuff happen, you know, and does marvelous things. There's a number of players that we've had over years that they just heal better than others. Penny Hart, you know, he played with a 2nd-degree knee sprain. I mean, there's no way in a short week. He played and was remarkable. I mean, some guys you might be out for 3-4 weeks, and I don't know how he did it. It was a marvel to everybody, but he never was going to miss it. And his mentality is the kind of mentality that exhibits the people that can do stuff like that. It's remarkable, and Russell is the epitome of that.
Just to clarify, did Russ tell you when he came off the field after that throw to Parkinson, he said, "I just can't throw"?
No, he was trying to figure it out. They were working to figure it out, and then it took a while, and finally, they just could tell that it just wasn't right to go back out.
Did you have to make the call that he can't go back out?
When I worked with the docs, and everybody was together on that, you know. I did not have to make the call. I wasn't going to force him back out. Russ knows his body. He knows what he can do, and so we just worked it out.
Was he pushing hard to get there? He knew it was too bad to keep
I'm sorry, say it
Was he
again.
pushing hard to get back in the game, or he knew it was?
No, he knew. He knew that this wouldn't help us tonight.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.